Imagine a life where you are no longer shaken by criticism, no longer fearful of challenges, and no longer swept away by life's troubles. You walk through storms with unwavering inner peace, like a towering mountain standing firm amidst raging seas. The chaos of the world becomes nothing more than a passing breeze, unable to disturb the serenity of your soul. But how can you achieve this state? How can you free yourself from the grip of negative emotions and prevent unfavorable circumstances from stealing your peace? The answer lies in the profound teachings of the Buddha, timeless principles that have helped millions find tranquility in the midst of life's turbulence. In today's video, we will explore 5 Buddhist principles that will help you become unaffected by anything. These are not just abstract theories but practical lessons that you can apply in your daily life to become stronger, wiser, and more at peace, no matter what challenges come your way. Stay with us until the end of this video, as we will reveal an incredibly valuable lesson, a simple yet powerful way to regain control over your emotions and maintain inner peace, even in the most difficult situations. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever faced situations that tested your patience? Do you want to learn how to master your emotions better? Share your story below. You're not only expressing yourself but also helping others on their journey to finding peace. Now, let's dive into these powerful Buddhist teachings. 1. Establishing firm purposes, the compass of your life. A clear and well-defined purpose serves as the foundation of resilience, much like how a sailor relies on the stars to navigate through the vast and unpredictable sea. Without a guiding purpose, life's difficulties can feel overwhelming, causing one to drift aimlessly in the face of adversity. The Buddha emphasized the significance of discovering one's purpose, stating, "Your work is to discover your work and then with all your heart to give yourself to it." This profound teaching highlights the necessity of aligning one's life with a deeper calling, as it provides direction and inner stability, even in the most challenging circumstances. The story of John exemplifies the transformative power of purpose. John was a man who seemingly lost everything: his career, his marriage, and his financial stability. Struggling with despair, he turned to meditation and Buddhist teachings in search of meaning. Through reflection, he came to realize that his suffering stemmed not from his losses themselves, but from his attachment to external success and validation. He had tied his self-worth to his achievements, and when those were stripped away, he was left feeling empty. However, by redefining his purpose not as a pursuit of status but as a life dedicated to service, John found a renewed sense of peace and fulfillment. With this clarity, he gradually rebuilt his life, not by chasing wealth or recognition, but by embracing a path that aligned with his inner values. Though he never regained his former material wealth, he gained something far more valuable: genuine contentment and an unshakable sense of self-worth that was no longer dependent on external circumstances. John's journey demonstrates a crucial lesson about purpose. It is not simply about ambition or setting goals, but about identifying what truly matters at the deepest level. A strong sense of purpose allows an individual to withstand life's inevitable challenges without losing direction or inner peace. When external conditions fluctuate, a well-defined purpose acts as an anchor, preventing one from being easily swayed by setbacks. In contrast, without purpose, adversity can lead to confusion, hopelessness, and an ongoing search for validation in places where it cannot be found. Applying this principle requires conscious effort and daily reflection. One way to cultivate a strong sense of purpose is to start each morning by contemplating one's values and aspirations. Asking questions such as, "What truly matters to me?" and "How can I align my actions with my deepest values?" helps reinforce a sense of direction. Additionally, maintaining a journal to track thoughts and personal growth can provide clarity over time. By continuously refining and reinforcing one's purpose, resilience naturally develops, allowing an individual to navigate uncertainty with confidence and a steady heart. Ultimately, true fulfillment does not come from external achievements, but from living in alignment with a deeper sense of meaning. A life guided by purpose not only brings personal satisfaction but also fosters strength, wisdom, and peace, qualities that enable one to face any challenge without losing their inner stability. Through mindful practice and self-reflection, anyone can cultivate a purpose that transcends material success, leading to a life of lasting fulfillment and unwavering resilience. 2. Becoming untouchable, mastering emotional detachment. Emotional detachment is a powerful practice that allows individuals to navigate life with composure and wisdom. In Buddhism, suffering is not caused by external events but by one's reaction to them. This understanding shifts the focus from controlling external circumstances, which is often impossible, to mastering one's inner state, which is entirely within one's control. The Buddhist teaching, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger," highlights the destructive nature of negative emotions. Anger, resentment, and frustration do not harm the person or situation that triggered them. Instead, they corrode the mind and heart of the one who harbors them. By learning to detach from these emotions, one cultivates an unshakable sense of peace, becoming immune to the turmoil of the outside world. The story of the Buddhist monk illustrates this principle beautifully. A man, driven by anger, approached the monk and hurled insults at him. The monk, instead of reacting with hostility, responded with a question: "If someone offers you a gift but you refuse to take it, to whom does it belong?" The man, confused but honest, replied, "It still belongs to the giver." The monk then smiled and said, "Then I refuse to accept your anger." This response not only diffused the situation but also exposed a profound truth: the monk's peace was untouched because he chose not to internalize the negativity directed at him. The man, realizing his powerlessness over the monk's inner state, walked away stunned. This lesson is crucial in everyday life, where criticism, negativity, and emotional provocations are inevitable. Many people instinctively react when confronted with anger, insults, or unfavorable situations, allowing external factors to dictate their emotional well-being. This reactive approach often leads to unnecessary suffering, as individuals become entangled in the emotions and judgments of others. However, by mastering emotional detachment, one gains the ability to remain unshaken in the face of provocation. This does not mean suppressing emotions but rather recognizing them without allowing them to take control. Practicing emotional detachment requires mindfulness and conscious effort. When confronted with negativity, the first step is to pause before reacting. Taking a deep breath and creating space between stimulus and response allows for a more thoughtful and composed reaction. The next step is to observe emotions without identifying with them, seeing anger or frustration as passing states rather than fixed aspects of one's identity. By doing so, one gains the power to choose whether or not to engage with those emotions. Another effective technique is to shift perspective, reminding oneself that another person's words or actions often reflect their internal struggles rather than an absolute truth. Practicing self-reflection at the end of the day helps reinforce this mindset, allowing individuals to assess their emotional responses and gradually strengthen their ability to remain composed in challenging situations. Mastering emotional detachment does not mean becoming indifferent or unfeeling. Instead, it is about developing an inner sanctuary of peace that external events cannot disturb. This approach fosters clarity, wisdom, and emotional stability, enabling individuals to move through life with grace and strength. By consistently practicing these principles, one gradually becomes untouchable, no longer at the mercy of circumstances but in full control of their own inner world. 3. Handling insults gracefully, the art of non-reaction. Handling insults with grace requires a deep understanding of emotional intelligence and self-control. Insults and criticism are an unavoidable part of life, yet the way one reacts to them determines their level of inner peace. Buddhism teaches that harsh words from others are often a reflection of their own suffering, insecurities, and unresolved emotions rather than an accurate representation of who we are. Recognizing this fundamental truth allows one to detach from emotional reactions and maintain a state of calmness. Instead of internalizing negativity, one can view insults as external noise, irrelevant to their true nature. The story of the Buddha and the angry man illustrates this principle perfectly. One day, a man approached the Buddha and hurled insults at him, attempting to provoke a reaction. However, the Buddha simply smiled and remained silent. When asked why he did not respond, he explained with a simple analogy: if someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong? The man, taken aback, realized that his anger had no effect on the Buddha, who refused to receive or acknowledge it. This story highlights a crucial lesson: anger and insults only have power if they are accepted. By not engaging with them, one renders them meaningless. The angry man, expecting a confrontation, left in frustration because he could not disrupt the Buddha's peace. This principle is essential in modern life, where criticism is frequently encountered, whether in personal relationships, the workplace, or social interactions. Many people react impulsively to insults, defending themselves or retaliating, which only escalates conflict and disturbs their inner tranquility. However, by developing the ability to remain detached, one can maintain emotional balance and avoid unnecessary suffering. The practice of non-reaction does not mean passively allowing mistreatment, but rather choosing not to let external negativity dictate one's emotional state. This approach requires awareness and discipline but leads to profound mental and emotional freedom. Applying this lesson in daily life involves cultivating patience and self-awareness. When faced with an insult, the first step is to pause before reacting. This moment of silence prevents impulsive retaliation and provides space for conscious decision-making. The next step is to observe the situation objectively, recognizing that the insult reflects the speaker's emotional state rather than one's own worth. Instead of taking the words personally, viewing them as an expression of another person's inner turmoil allows for detachment. Additionally, practicing mindfulness helps reinforce this mindset by fostering emotional stability and reducing sensitivity to external negativity. Another effective strategy is to respond with kindness or silence, which neutralizes hostility and prevents the escalation of conflict. Over time, Consistently practicing these techniques strengthens emotional resilience and enhances one's ability to remain undisturbed by external judgments. Mastering the art of non-reaction transforms the way one experiences interactions with others. It shifts power away from external influences and places it within one's control, fostering an unshakable inner peace. By refusing to engage in negativity, one not only protects their own well-being but also influences the surrounding environment with calmness and wisdom. This approach not only leads to a more peaceful life but also sets an example of strength and emotional mastery for others to follow. For guarding your mind, the garden of thought. The mind functions like a garden, where the quality of one's thoughts determines the nature of one's inner world. Just as a gardener carefully chooses which seeds to plant, individuals must be mindful of the thoughts they cultivate. If one allows negativity, fear, or doubt to take root, these emotions will grow uncontrollably, dominating the mind and shaping a reality filled with suffering. Conversely, by nurturing positivity, resilience, and wisdom, one can create a state of inner peace that remains unaffected by external circumstances. This principle emphasizes the importance of intentional thinking, as the thoughts one repeatedly entertains influence emotions, behaviors, and ultimately, the direction of one's life. The story of the two wolves illustrates this concept in a profound way. An old Cherokee grandfather shared with his grandson the idea that within every person, there is a battle between two wolves. One wolf embodies anger, envy, greed, and negativity, while the other represents love, peace, kindness, and wisdom. The grandson, curious about the outcome of this internal struggle, asked, "Which wolf wins?" The old man responded simply, "The one you feed." This story highlights a fundamental truth: whichever thoughts one chooses to focus on and reinforce will ultimately define their character and experience. If one constantly dwells on resentment and fear, those emotions will gain power, consuming the mind and influencing actions in destructive ways. On the other hand, choosing to focus on gratitude, compassion, and wisdom strengthens positive qualities, leading to a life of clarity and emotional stability. Applying this lesson in everyday life requires conscious effort and self-awareness. The first step is mindfulness, which involves observing one's thoughts without immediately reacting to them. When negative thoughts arise, instead of suppressing or fighting them, one should acknowledge their presence while refusing to fuel them with further attention. Recognizing that thoughts are fleeting and impermanent allows individuals to detach from harmful mental patterns. The next step is redirecting focus toward thoughts that empower and uplift. Rather than allowing fear or doubt to dominate, one can consciously shift toward gratitude, optimism, or self-compassion. Practicing this repeatedly reshapes neural pathways, reinforcing a habit of positive thinking over time. Another effective strategy is mental filtering, which involves being selective about external influences. The mind is constantly absorbing information from conversations, media, and experiences, which shape thought patterns. By surrounding oneself with uplifting content, engaging in meaningful discussions, and avoiding sources of negativity, individuals create an environment conducive to mental clarity and emotional balance. Additionally, meditation and self-reflection strengthen mental discipline, helping individuals recognize and replace harmful thought patterns with those that align with inner peace and wisdom. By consistently applying these principles, one cultivates a mind that is resilient against negativity and deeply rooted in positivity. Instead of being controlled by fluctuating emotions and external influences, individuals develop mastery over their own mental state. Over time, inner peace becomes the default mode of thinking, allowing one to navigate life's challenges with grace, confidence, and an unwavering sense of stability. 5. Overcoming fear and shame, releasing self-imposed limitations. Fear and shame act as invisible chains that restrict personal growth and inner peace. Buddhism teaches that these emotions do not arise from external reality but are products of mental constructs, attachments to societal expectations, personal insecurities, and the fear of judgment. Many individuals unconsciously allow fear and shame to dictate their decisions, avoiding risks, suppressing their true selves, and remaining trapped in cycles of self-doubt. However, these limitations exist only as long as they are believed to be true. Recognizing them as illusions created by the mind is the first step toward breaking free from their influence. The story of the fearful student highlights how internal perceptions shape one's reality. The student, eager to progress in meditation, became paralyzed by the fear of failure. His mind associated mistakes with personal inadequacy, making every attempt at practice a stressful experience rather than a journey of learning. Observing this struggle, his teacher offered a transformative insight: you fear failure because you think it defines you. But failure is just a teacher in disguise. Embrace it, and you will be free. This shift in perspective changed the student's relationship with his practice. By no longer seeing failure as a reflection of his worth but as an opportunity for growth, he let go of the shame attached to imperfection. Over time, he became more relaxed in his practice, progressing naturally without the burden of self-judgment. This story serves as a reminder that fear and shame only hold power when one identifies with them. When viewed objectively, they lose their grip, revealing themselves as temporary states of mind rather than absolute truths. Overcoming fear and shame requires a conscious effort to challenge conditioned beliefs and reframe personal narratives. The first step is awareness, recognizing how these emotions manifest and acknowledging their presence without resistance. Many people avoid confronting their fears because they mistakenly believe avoidance will keep them safe. However, suppressing fear only strengthens its influence. Instead, one must observe it without judgment, understanding that fear is not an enemy but an indicator of areas where personal growth is possible. The next step is detachment from external validation, releasing the need for approval from others. Societal expectations often impose unrealistic standards, creating pressure to conform at the expense of authenticity. By shifting focus from external opinions to internal alignment, individuals regain control over their own self-worth. Another powerful strategy is reframing failure as learning, understanding that every mistake carries wisdom and every setback is an opportunity for refinement. The fear of failure is often rooted in the misconception that mistakes define one's identity. However, failure is merely a stepping stone toward mastery. Viewing challenges as part of the learning process removes the emotional burden associated with them. Finally, self-compassion and patience are essential in this journey. Fear and shame take time to dissolve, and progress is not always linear. By treating oneself with kindness and understanding, individuals build resilience and gradually free themselves from mental constraints. Through consistent practice of these principles, fear and shame lose their power, allowing for the cultivation of inner confidence and freedom. Without these self-imposed limitations, individuals move through life with greater ease, making choices based on wisdom rather than fear. In this state, personal growth becomes natural, and inner peace becomes unshakable. Conclusion: embracing a life of unshakable peace. By integrating these Buddhist principles into your daily life, you cultivate an inner strength that no external force can shake. Whether through mastering emotional detachment, handling insults with grace, or overcoming fear and shame, each lesson guides you toward a state of peace that is independent of life's ups and downs. Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." True peace is not found in perfect circumstances but in mastering your inner world. As you walk this path, remember, your greatest power lies not in changing the world, but in changing how you respond to it. If you found this wisdom valuable, consider sharing it with others on the path to enlightenment. May your journey be filled with peace, wisdom, and boundless joy.